Hey guys, Lancer here. Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks again for joining me while we look into some reserve list action. I want to see what the reserve list has been doing, and I'm going to go through some specific cards that have moved today and over the week, and also the dual lands. Let's get to it. So the first thing I want to do is look at revised edition movement as a whole. Now, MTG Goldfish has a graph that allows you to capture the prices of all of the cards together in one place. The problem is that it is also including the manipulated prices as well. There's no doubt about that. But you can see that there's a slow drift from the early buyouts that was going on from 2022, sorry, 2021-02, so February 2021. And if we go through and just have a look at what's quickly changed from the dailies, it looks like the Tundra, Bio, Badlands, and Brainjazer, Scrublands, Volcanic Island have all dropped by a certain amount. But once again, if you look at the weekly, you can see that the drops are Goblin King, Lord of the Pit, Gargoyle, Willow of the Wisp, and so on. There's not that many big drops when it comes to the heavy hitting cards. You can see that Badlands has dropped by around about 8%, $47 this week. But that doesn't really mean much. They have been up so fast, for so long now. So I'm pretty sure they've at least plateaued, at least for now. And we'll have to see what happens to them in the near future. So continuing on, we'll go to the first card that seems to have dropped or jumped off a cliff. Goblin King from Revised. This card was peaking around about $30 on 2021 02 04 14, so 14th of February, and now it's dropped down to around about $11. It's quite impressive actually. Actually, I take that back. You can get it for $6.60, $6.63 from TCG. It is important to remember that this is not a reserved list card, and it has been printed many times. So, but old cards are still valuable. Like if there's anything that comes out of Legends, is that old cards still can hold their value. So we'll see how this one goes. I'm going to go through the weekly changes for the vintage marketplace, and you can see some high hitting numbers right here. Mind Twist has been moving up by $8,633 this week, 26%, now sitting at 42,251 for the beta version. The same version in Unlimited is now sitting at $324, moving up by 113% this week, $171. That's crazy. I'm saying the word again, but I can't help it. These movements are really amazing to see. If you look at some of these spikes, you can see that this is one of those heavily manipulated times where it moves up very evenly. They're obviously selling it to each other, and then it just drops off a cliff. And it happens again and again and again. Now, this is the manipulated prices, but the average is probably still going to follow this to a certain point until they fall back down. So you got to be very careful about the prices of this. That was a point in time where you could get Mind Twist for what, $900, and now it's $2,000, and I assume that's not even available or in stock. Yep, currently out of stock. So beta version of Mind Twist is going to be very hard to get your hands on. Let's keep going. Mox Pearl, $400, $4,000, sorry, on tabletop. eBay, you can get it for 3,400. I can't even say the thousands. And this is important to remember that there's just not enough of these out there. But if you can or have got them, it's really important to remember that when these prices start moving up or spiking up because of manipulation, you want to make sure that you can either take advantage of that or make sure that you're preserving the cards for the long term. Because I don't know when we're going to see these prices again. Obviously, if the stimulus keeps coming out, if the market conditions are still the same, that's fine. But I feel like we've hit a plateau, and now that we have the new stimulus coming out in the US, we might see another spike, but then another, like, it's pretty much based on what comes out of the government. Like, it's weird, but the markets and the way that these cards are behaving are showing a fear of the current government policies and the way that the world is going right now. It's the same thing with cryptocurrencies. It's the same thing with Bitcoin. It's the same thing with US stocks. It's the stock markets around the whole world. Interest rates are so low that people that are willing to just speculate on anything, borrow money, and throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. This is probably one of the best places to throw it, actually. because these have been proven to not need to be made again in the future. But it doesn't stop them from being speculation in some ways. Mox Ruby, same thing. These are all sitting around about $4,000. eBay says 2,800, but I assume that might be like a medium played card. Lord of the Pit, we're dropping back down in price, but this was another one that was moving quite rapidly. It sat around about $6.20, and now it's fallen down to $4.50. This is not a reserve list card either, so it is most likely just got value because of how old it is. You got other cards like Moat moving up $1,333, up 64% this week. You got Badlands from Unlimited moving up by $500, catching up to what Revised is doing now, moving up 78%. Land Equilibrium from Legends moving up $346, 142% to $589. Tabernacle or Pendrell Vale sitting at $8,484, moving up by 4%, $296 this week. So when you look at all of these cards, they are all moving up pretty consistently. Unlimited, I will admit that with revised edition, and the difference between revised and unlimited is that these prices were a bit too cheap at some point. Now, this TCG market price doesn't make too much sense. Card Kingdom seems to be more accurate. Buy now with confidence, $700 unlimited edition Tiger. That sounds pretty decent. I guess I'll have to see how badly it is played. Let's just have a quick look. Sorry, guys. That... Come on, show me the back. Alright, that's pretty heavily played. I wouldn't want to... I mean, don't leave it as it is if you're ever going to buy this card. I think that's actually a good pickup. You guys can let me know if you think that $700 for a heavily played Tiger in Unlimited is a good pickup, because I'm sure... Should I just buy this? No. You guys can let me know on the on how efficient that price is, but I actually feel like it's a good price. And whoever gets to it first, good luck. Give me a shout out. Or don't get to it. Tell me that it was a total crap card and it's not worth it at all for $700 for Unlimited. Tropical Island sitting at TCG Marketplace of $700. These are all dropping by a decent amount. You can actually see that it's sat around about $2,130, and now it's sitting at $1,525 for the market price. It is out of stock, so good luck with that. I'm pretty sure the revised editions were sitting around about $700 for some of these cards, so it's crazy to think about Unlimited being able to keep up with that as well. Continuing on, you have some other ones from Mox Pearl to Mox Sapphire. They're all sitting at exactly $4,000. So these cards are all heavily manipulated to a certain point, especially the unlimited ones. And Alpha, good luck trying to get any of those cards now, unless you already have them in your collection, in which case, good for you. They are going to be hard to get their hands on. So I just want to have a quick look over the dual lands. They really haven't been doing much. They're plateauing. They're trying to keep up with their average and market price. So right now you can get most of these for what you could have done about a week ago without too much hesitation, too much loss or gain. So you got Badlands, which is sitting around about $375 for the market price, but you can actually get a couple from $399 heavily played to lightly played $445. That's not bad. It's important to remember where these cards were coming from. A couple of months ago, they were half the price almost. So Bayou, flatlined. Plateaued. Savannah, flatlined. Scrublands. Pretty much every single one of these dual lands has not moved even the slightest. Everyone is holding. Everyone's diamonds handing all of the reserve list and even some of the old cards. So if you're in that pile, good for you. Now let's have a look at the daily movers and see which ones are moving up for any reason at all. Aurum Samite's Healer from Tempest is moving up by quite a decent amount. It is on the reserve list. It was cheaper than it probably should have been for a cleric. It's got some playability as a cleric itself because of the support that it's been given. And its power isn't exactly the worst for a legend, so it's actually pretty cool. It's right now sitting at $3.94 on the market, and I know that Tempest is not one of those sets that's heavily coveted by collectors, but as a card on the reserve list, it feels like something that's still pretty decent for what it is. Now, sadly, a lightly played is still going to cost you around about $10, and a moderately played $5. It's not too bad in my mind, but it really does depend on what you're going to get out of this. The spike did happen in the last couple of days for some of the higher end cards, so the average is probably going to start moving up. Tempest Effort, really interesting card. It's banned in almost every single place. It is moving pretty randomly. It actually hasn't moved too much. There was a point in 2019 where it moved way more. But I think one of these kinds of cards from Legends is it's a Legends card and it is on the reserve. Oh, it's not on the reserve list, but it's never going to be printed again, I assume. It's an old card and you're going to pretty much have to figure out if this card is going to be valuable, even if it's not on the reserve list, that it's from Legends and it's got anti. I actually feel like a lot of cards that have anti, which is the one where you play for keeps, may not ever get printed, even if they're not on the reserve list. Like, I can't be 100% sure. You guys can let me know in the discussions below. But I feel like any card that has anti in it has collectability more than it has playability, and actually probably makes it more of a Wizards is not going to reprint this in any format, any way that it is right now, because it's just not playable. Which is a weird reason to buy a card, but welcome to the collectibles world. Beast of Bogarden from Legends. It's a Legends card. That's all you need to know. It's moving up quite rapidly. It's being pretty heavily manipulated. $9 on TCG. Alka's Tomb from Legends. It's pretty much Legends all week long. They have been moving up the fastest and hard. And right now, $40 for Alka's Tomb feels like a lot. I'm pretty sure there was a point where I was telling that it was a lot when it was $12 when I was first doing my reserve list reviews. Spinal Villain Legends, 2 colorless, 1 red for a 1/2. I actually like this card. Tap, destroy target blue creature. Feels like a really good way to get rid of blue, especially if you're playing red. You already have that disadvantage. It's also $160 on TCG, so good luck. There was no real time when this card was cheap. It was even $9 in 2017 when no one was paying attention to the reserve list. So, in fact, there was a point where it was even higher. Jakuz Letvert, I don't know how to say that, but he's from Legends, and he is pretty decent actually. He's on the reserve list, which makes him even more valuable than some of these other cards, like this girl. But outside of that, you can't really be 100% sure what they're going to do in price. They are still going to be keeping up with probably what's happening with the reserve list in whole. So there's been kind of like a gentle move up for the market price, but the average is obviously spiking all over the place, which is the ones that have the buyouts included. Wall of Dust from, what is it? Legends. So another Legends looks like a buyout. It's not really moving anywhere fast. It's 80 cents. You can still get it for 87 cents on TCG. If you value old cards, then this is probably something to look into. There is almost no playability for a card like this. So, yeah. Catbatic Wins from Visions is moving up as well. It's a strange card. It is on the reserve list. That makes it quite valuable. It's from Visions. I can expect this card to probably try to keep up with the rest of the market as well without any issues. Now, here's the weird one. Zera Arene from Legends. Now, I got this card probably for like, I don't know, ages ago now. Probably $5 or something, way back when. TCG doesn't even have an English version, but the last one that sold was $60 apparently and was probably a near mint. This is not a near mint card. And it's not one of the most fanciest Legends card or anything like that. But I find it really interesting that even cards that are not on the reserve list are being printed out because you can get a copy of her for 78 cents. Chronicles, white-bordered, of course. So, you know, if you don't like the white-bordered, then I guess you have no choice but to go to Legends. But you can get a white-bordered version of her for 78 cents, or you can get a proper Legends version of her for what feels like around about $40 on average. So Strange times. We'll have to see what happens. Yep, both of the copies are Italian. But I'll leave it at that, guys. Thanks again for watching. Let me know if this was useful. This is just meant to be a quick recap of the fact that reserve list it's still moving. Legends is where you're meant to be at right now by the looks of it. Dual lands are pretty steady. I'll keep an eye on those as well because I'm still looking for my tiger. And have fun. I'll get back to you guys in the comment section.